Hands.
So Crew did take up his position there.
Oh, Herfoss has absolutely blitzed them off the start. A great start from Troy Herfoss.
Fantastic. Glenn Allen tips in behind.
Matty Walters also got a great start from the second row of the grid. We saw him lead a race yesterday. And of course, this is his first real round at full fitness after that arm pump surgery that he had earlier on.
Glenn Allen full of aggression yesterday, and he's already full of aggression there. He looked to try and get up the inside of Troy Herfoss. Troy Herfoss very wide their entry into turn 2, and the boys couldn't get close enough to shove it up the inside. So Crew's down there behind Mike. Mike Jones had a shocker of a day yesterday, as we talked about Bo Burt.
Oh, the Panigale.
There he is in shot. Mike Jones just shoving him underneath there. So see come in and shot there. Troy Herfoss, Glenn Allen, Jamie Stover in third place.
Jamie Stover started from 8th place on the grid as well, so he's had a lightning start on board his Honda CBR 1000 RRSP as well.
Maxwell's lost a number of positions. He's lost about 5 positions between turn 2 and turn 5 there.
Condon and Matty Walters also having a ding-dong battle there, with Walters completely sideways going into Kawasaki turn 6.
So anything going to happen down here at turn 9? So no, still Troy's still got that bike length over Glenn Allen. Glenn can't quite come maybe. Of course, we've got a long race distance to go. 14 laps here, the distance.
Well, Condon was absolutely filthy after first race yesterday, Trev, because he got a jump start penalty in race number 1 and finished second place on the road. But
Jamie's all over Glenn Allen now. Sean Condon's right there. He was finishing so strong yesterday. Sean Condon really, really impressive this weekend, and I don't think I give him the kudos he deserves a lot of the time, because he flies under the radar. A very small sort of single garage effort, so doesn't seem to get that much of the limelight.
Oh, Condon up to second.
But he's certainly putting himself in the limelight up there. See, Glenn Allen's taking the lead now, Condon second, so Troy Herfoss got dusted down the straight there. Jamie Stover up the inside of Troy Herfoss. Two Honda men.
I don't think Jamie's quite able to get up. His runner fraction wide. I thought Matt Walters, his fellow Hunter Valley resident, was going to try and slot up the inside, but Mad Mike Jones now is right onto the back of Matty Walters' Kawasaki Connection Rover coach's machine.
So Mike Jones trying to make up for a somewhat disappointing performance yesterday, which much to our surprise. Glenn Allen, Condon, Herfoss. Herfoss going to look to go up the inside of Condon. No, Condon's wise to that. Condon does that move. Looks at making that move that I thought Troy was going to do on Condon. Looks to do on Glenn Allen there. So Glenn Allen did come on very, very strong in that last race yesterday, and he's carrying that form through today.
He was much stronger in the second half of yesterday's race number 2 than any of the other riders out there on track. He actually came from about 6th or 7th position early on in the race too.
Come from a long way back.
And put in a great performance. So he knows he's got the speed. He was well, not real happy that he got pipped on the line either by his teammate Crew Halliday for the victory in that last race. But he is all fired up today. Of course, this is his local track. He loves the circuit. He loves tipping in there to turn 1 at 280 kilometres an hour, as we heard earlier on.
Herfoss is back past Condon and all over the back of Allen.
And Jamie is right onto the back of Sean Condon as well.
And they need to be for this run down the Insurance Main Straight. Otherwise, they just can't really stay in the toe of those Yamaha and Kawasaki machines.
Maxwell still back there in 8th position, though, as they come across the start-finish line. It is Glenn Allerton that leads from Sean Condon, Herfoss, Jamie Stover, Crew Halliday. Mike Jones,
Crew, the
Matt
fastest
Walters.
man on the track, a 31.5 to Crew. So he was half a second quicker than any other rider on track that lap. So Crew maybe perhaps a little bit upset by that problem that we thought he had on the warm-up lap, but he's regrouping now, and he should join this front group anytime.
In fact, the first 4, Trev, all in the 32s, and then in the second 4 of that top 8, 3 of those riders into the 31s.
So Glenn Allen leads on track from Sean Condon. Keeps it tight here. Thought he might do the change of direction move. But Troy Herfoss looks at that one. Troy Herfoss up the inside.
I thought Stover was going to go as well.
Herfoss skipped sideways there before they do the long run up between turn 5 and 6. But Jamie got the inside line of Condon. But I can't quite
look at them all. Here comes Maxwell up the inside of Matty Walters to get onto the back of Mad Mike Jones' machine. Walters fights back hard on the inside though as they come up towards the turn 8 area.
Crew might make a move on Jamie here if he gets a sniff, heading down towards this JT turns turn 9. Not quite close enough. Still Glenn Allen leading on track. Jamie a little bit wide there at turn 9.
Well, that move from Herfoss where he got the back end slide, that was reminiscent of his Supermoto days, wasn't it? Getting the bike sliding and just keeping it under complete control. You could see that it didn't even...
American Supermoto champion, not just Australians. Oh, fantastic run there from Troy Herfoss in between 11 and 12. He should get a good run down the chute here, but Kawasaki will pull out past him, but hopefully Herfoss can then tuck in back behind it.
Well, what Troy said this morning when I spoke to him is that their bike is absolutely fantastic through those final corners. They need to get that run onto the straight to be able to compete with the high top speed of the Kawasaki and the Yamaha as Condon moves up into second position.
Jamie looking up the inside of Troy Herfoss there. Troy in deep. But Jamie had just getting a fantastic through turn one. Troy up the inside of Condon, can't quite do it. Out.
And what Jamie was saying too is that the pelvis injury that he suffered early on in the year, he said he has got no problem with it at all. He said the only thing that's probably hampering him is the fact that he hasn't been able to do any training on his dirt bike because they've had so much rain up in the Hunter Valley that his dirt track is essentially underwater.
He does have a very nice dirt. Oh, Condon looks to go up the inside of Glen Allen there, but can't quite make it stick through her fossil and switch to the outside.
Well, and the other thing is though too, Trev, that Condon has come into this round with only a very minor injury as opposed to every other round that we've seen him at lately where he seems to come in with some sort of major injury. Just he's been suffering from some strained muscles in his forearm, which was getting taped up this morning as we see a battle there between Ben Burke and Bo Beaton on board that Racer's Edge Panigale 12.99.
Only 1.3 seconds cover the top 8.
That's pretty much what we saw yesterday as well.
And in qualifying we had 4/10 cover the top 7.
So our lead group at the moment is Glenn Allerton, Sean Condon, Troy Herfoss on bike number 3, the first of the two Hondas. Then it's Jamie Stouffer, Crew Halliday, Wayne Maxwell, Matty Walters and Mad Mike Jones. All of those riders have won Australian Championships in one category or another.
I think that Jamie might be the danger man here, Phil. I've just got a sneaking suspicion that if he can... Oh, no, look, a Crew blow past the 2 Honda guys. Wow, that was... that's got to be
Matty Walters
frustrating.
as well.
Walters too. So Honda guys did not get a great run down the chute there, but I think Jamie's got some fantastic speed, Phil. If he doesn't get tripped up too much, I actually think he's definitely going to be on score for a podium. Herfoss a little bit wide into turn 2. Crew's coming on strong now. Crew's going to make a march to the front. Glenn getting a little bit loose there. Sean Condon now leads as they climb their way up between iPhone turn 3 and DID change turn 4. Well, Condon's managed to gap Glen Allen a little bit there, so I don't know if Glenn's starting to suffer a little bit of tyre wear. Did start to get a little bit loose that previous lap. Herfoss all over the back of Allen now as they negotiate Kawasaki, head down to Kawasaki turn 6, I should say. Herfoss has get the inside line.
Interesting to
Looks
see
to go up the inside, and he does it. So Herfoss up to 2nd position. Crew all over the back of Allen now also. So, oh, look at that power down on that YRT YZF R1M there. Crew lifting the front tyre out of turn 7 there. So Crew full of aggression as he looks to switch to the inside of Glenn. Can't quite do it. Matty Walters coming on strong as well as the race progresses.
Yeah, he's really having the benefits now of that arm pump surgery. But just looking at the top speeds as they came down the last run down the Swan Insurance Straight, the fastest man on track, Crew Halliday at 282. Also Ben Burke back there in position number 9 at 282.
And Bo Beaton 281 on the Ducati.
So the Ducati Panigale 12.99 certainly not showing the horsepower department, but he's getting good drive.
It has a Ninja 300 capacity advantage over the... he has another Ninja 300 motor in there as well. So 31.39 to Herfoss that time around. So Herfoss full of beans, 31.5 to Condon, a 31.39 to Herfoss. Herfoss, I see Allen getting a little bit loose there. Crew's got past Allen for that 3rd position.
Interesting comment from Troy Herfoss when I spoke to him earlier. He said our bike is pretty much on the limit now. It's we've got everything we can out of it. The changes that they make as they come to each round are only very minor, whereas the Yamaha guys are still making relatively large changes trying to...
And Troy doesn't like this track. This is his bogey track.
It is. And
we got 3 rounds here this year, and he says if he's there or thereabouts or close here, it fills him full of confidence for Wakefield, Winton and Queensland Raceway. He says if he can be close
and where the
to
Honda
those
can
guys
really
here,
shine
exactly.
With
he says so at those
chassis.
rounds he expects to virtually be dominant. If he can be this close here, he thinks at those other tracks, then you know he's definitely in with a strong shot.
And the riders that are around him, Crew Halliday loves this place. Sean Condon loves this place. Both their bikes are very good here with the long start finish straight.
Troy looks around the inside.
Loves the place as well, as does Matty Walters. And at the moment, Maxwell, Stouffer and Mad Mike Jones make up the rear of this huge conga line of riders down the Dunlop Straight and into the Bell Helmets corners.
I think we'll see Halliday pass the Honda before they tip into turn 1 this next time around, but it'll be up to Herfoss to try and perhaps spoil Halliday then as they get into turn 2, but I'd be very surprised if Crew has not passed Troy Herfoss by the time they get down to turn 1.
Well, we're coming down to complete 6 laps, Trev, so we're not even at half race distance yet as Mad Mike Jones goes past Jamie
Crew up
Stouffer.
the inside of Herfoss. Herfoss keeps his line. That's very, very important that Troy does manage to keep his nose ahead of that Yamaha at all times. Troy up the inside of Sean Condon. That's great, so that means he should be able to keep that position. Runs a little bit wide, but he'll get it back there. This means
But how was the confidence in the front end displayed there from Troy Herfoss that he ran in so deep and late on the brakes?
The blades actually twitched a few little times there on entry into that turn 2 there, so obviously that's not disturbing Troy. It didn't look that tidy, but he's done it a few times.
Unfortunately,
and he seems to keep it together.
That's Bo Beaton into the pits on the Racer's Edge Panigale 12.99, so obviously some problems there for the brand new motorcycle.
And of course, just as I've been talking up Jamie, I put the commentator's curse on him, and he's been relegated to the back of this group of 8.
But still, we're only at half race distance. Plenty of time for Jamie Stouffer to come forward. Maybe he's trying to outsmart the rest of the riders in this lead group at the moment.
And of course, we've hardly mentioned Wayne Maxwell's name in this race. He's just the quiet achiever, isn't he? He just doesn't seem to do anything flash or anything like that. But then at the end of the day, you look at the points and it's like, oh, he's won the round. It's like, how did that happen?
But by his own admission, made too many mistakes in yesterday's round to take victory.
He did
and said that you can't make that many mistakes and still expect to take victory. I'm sure he'll
using all the circuit there.
If anyone will sort that out for today, it is the multiple Australian champion Wayne Maxwell. As Matty Walters getting on the gas hard on the Rover Coaches Kawasaki Connection machine.
Matty Walters shining here this weekend. He's having his best round for some time.
It is. Well, he's back to full fitness, Trev. He's got the arm pump issues sorted. He's happy with the setup of the motorcycle. They've got the bike working really well. They've had the opportunity to do a test at Queensland Raceway in between the round at Malala and here this weekend. And Matty Walters back on the pace, and it's great to see. Actually, he led a race yesterday for a few laps as well, so that would give him a lot of confidence. And the fact that his teammate Rick Olsen is going well in the 600 as well. They're spurring each other on.
So we've got Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Honda. So just missing Suzuki out there from the Japanese quartet.
Well, and not only are we battling for outright honours in the championship as well, we're also battling for the
Pro-Am
Maxwell
Cup. The inside of Walters, so that's Maxwell up to 5th, just perhaps keeping his powder dry, conserving his tyres a little bit. Is he going to be able to race that gap up to that leading 4? That leading 4 have broke away a little bit. That group of 8 is now two groups of 4 almost, so Wayne's got to try and telescope forward there onto the back of Glen Allen and Crew Halliday. You see Jamie coming in there, sliding through a fantastic turn 8.
Well, there goes Mad Mike Jones up the inside of Matty Walters as well, down into turn 9, the JT Sprockets corner. But as we're saying, the Pro-Am Cup points are up for grabs as well. Obviously, Sean Condon leads the race, so he leads the Pro-Am Cup as well. And that's for all riders that are not part of the Yamaha or Honda factory teams.
Troy got held up there in between 11 and 12 as they got up right there and had to get out of the gas a little bit. So he's going to tied in behind this Kawasaki, but will Halliday have him by the start line with the superior horsepower that was at FR1M. Halliday switches to the inside as they shoot down to turn 1. Herfoss hopes to go up the inside of Sean Condon though, so Herfoss is getting fantastic run out of turn 12 there to be able to keep the Yamaha at bay. Doing it much better than he seemed to yesterday.
Yeah, by his own admission, he wasn't on his game yesterday, Troy Herfoss, and he's back on it again today. Although he was in there or thereabouts, but just didn't quite have a few of the answers when some of the harder questions were asked.
There was no mistakes made by Troy yesterday, but yeah, just seems to be able to stay in that draft a lot better today than what they were managing yesterday. Maybe it's a gearing change.
And you could also tell that the way Troy's facial expressions change when he's happy and when he's not. He was not happy yesterday with his performance. And it's always, I find he's quite dangerous the next day when he's in that sort of mood the day before.
Goes home and beats himself up.
Well, he does, and he beats himself up harder than anybody else. Paul Free and the team don't need to say anything to him. They know how critical Troy is of his own performances. And I had the idea that he would come out very strong today. He doesn't lead the championship because he's he rests on his laurels either, does Troy Herfoss.
So Condon leads from Herfoss and Halliday.
I think coming into this round, Trev, was it 6 points difference between Herfoss and Maxwell at the head of the Swan Insurance Australasian Superbike Championship field. Matty Walters back on the game and putting in another good ride on board the Kawasaki Connection Rover Coaches machine. Bike number 12 on your screens there, you can see at the moment. Great to see him back at the top of his game as well. He's just dropped back to the back of that lead group at the moment and trying to hang on to
so Herfoss
the rear
looks
of
to switch up the inside of Condon. He's going to do it this time, Phil. So Herfoss has been holding a great line through this turn 1 and getting a great entry into turn 2. Now Sean might look to switch to the inside as he does, but Herfoss will run in deep and he's got plenty of ground there. So Herfoss will bring that back and he will lead them through the back of the circuit.
But once again, a clear display of the excellent chassis and suspension package that the Honda does possess. Through turn 1, fastest corner on the circuit. Through turn 2, a big braking, hard double apex corner to try and negotiate. And Herfoss was absolutely superb through there on that occasion.
And look who's joined that group.
Wayne Maxwell, just creeping forward.
Just creep. It's like the silent creeper of the night. Just all of a sudden he's there and scoring good points.
And we saw the move that he put on Crew Halliday yesterday down into JT Sprocket's turn 9. That was it was one for the ages, that move, where he went around the outside of Halliday into the corner on the brakes, which was, you know, it's not as if he's just trying to compete against track day punters here. He's competing against the best riders in the country, and to put a move on like that was completely unbelievable. It was one of those ones that you had to see it to believe it, Trev.
And I don't think it's going to be long before Maxwell does spring a surprise on Glen Allerton. And now, surprising, Crew's starting to lose a little bit of ground on Sean Condon and Troy Herfoss there. Perhaps, again, just saving his tyres a little bit for the last run, perhaps, which is certainly what it looks like we've been seeing Wayne doing, because now Wayne's all over the back of Glen Allerton. And I think he'll pass him into turn 1 this time around, Phil.
Well, Matty Walters has dropped off the back of the Jamie Stauffer Mad Mike Jones battle at the moment, which is on for 6th and 7th position. In fact, on the leads. On that last lap, Walters is back into the 33, so maybe lost a bit of rear end grip on board the Kawasaki.
Mike Jones getting a bit loose there too. Jamie looking up the inside, but pulls out. But I think Jamie should be able to get Mike before this race is out, so Jamie might be able to claim that 6th place. Wayne Maxwell still hasn't quite sneaked past Glen Allerton. Glen Allerton's right there with Crew as well, so perhaps he'll do 2 of them in 1.
Jamie Stauffer desperately trying to find a way round the very rapid Queenslander. Mad Mike Jones on board by Condon.
Halliday very close on Herfoss again now. Herfoss, the fastest man on the circuit the last time around, a 31.29. So Herfoss has done the fastest lap of the race.
On the last lap, so he's obviously kept his powder somewhat dry.
Working.
That's the other thing is the Honda. Not only does it have an excellent chassis, but it doesn't work the tyres as hard as the Kawasaki.
Well, it's getting 20, 25 horsepower less, getting hammered into that rear Dunlop, so that's got to help.
Let's see if Jamie Stauffer can utilise that advantage that the Honda has at the end of the race as well in his battle with Jones. But it is still Herfoss leading from Condon, Halliday, Allerton and Maxwell. The 3 YRT riders are neck and neck now as they come round through Bell Helmet's corner, out onto the start-finish straight.
Crew having a look around there, see where his teammates were. Just a gap, a little bit of gap to Allerton there, so Crew switches to the inside. Behind Condon there, but he's not going to be close enough. Condon looks up the inside of Herfoss into turn 1. He's going to make it stick. I think Herfoss will get him back at turn 2.
The advantage there was that Condon was able to get well and truly past before they had to try and tip down into turn 1. Herfoss
is going to keep it together, goes deep here.
Well, as Herfoss tried to make the break,
inside,
hasn't been able to, so now he's sort of thought, okay, new strategy required. We saw he had to do this at the first round here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
But if he's not careful, he's going to get mugged by Crew and or perhaps even another Yamaha as well. And once they spoil his run through turn 11 and 12, that's all they got to do is park it under him at 9 or 11, spoil his run through 11 and 12, and that'll cost him dearly.
Well, they look like they've even pulled out a fraction of a gap now over Crew Halliday as they make their way up towards Kawasaki corner turn 6.
It's this back section.
Here comes Herfoss.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
That Super Motard style back end starting to slide into the corner. Can he maintain the momentum?
No, he's back, puts back to second by Condon there, so he must have ran in a little bit deep. Going to try the stranger direction here. Oh, Crew's very close there. So Troy switches to the inside.
You can see Troy was actually held up there a fraction, couldn't he, by Condon on the entry into the corner. He couldn't get in there as fast as he would have liked.
That might be able to bring Crew just that bike length closer. But the biggest balk that Troy's been getting a couple of times is in this middle between turn 11 and 12. Condon sort of stands up and almost parks it. Troy nearly runs up the back of him there a couple of times earlier in this race.
And Maxwell having to work overtime to try and get past his teammate Glen Allerton as well.
Halliday's close enough this time. He's going to do Herfoss before turn 1, Phil. There he goes. He shoots through to the inside. Is he going to do Condon as well? Not quite. Herfoss round the outside. Switches back to the end. He runs up the back of Condon there. So, very tight though. This is where the money's on the line. Herfoss on the outside alongside Crew. Goes in deeper. Oh, it runs in very deep here. Crew's going to slip up the inside. Allerton as well, nearly no. Troy brings it back. Should be able to get
on the
back
inside for turn 3.
Does. Crew leans tight. Stand up a little bit there. So it's all on for young and old now.
It certainly is, because Allerton and Maxwell are well and truly back into this picture as well. They dropped off a fraction by a couple of bike lengths on the halfway round the last lap, but they are well and truly back in the game now.
I think
with Herfoss having to get back into second place and Condon in the lead, the pace just seems to have dropped by half a second or so. They're back into the high 31s now as opposed to the low 31s.
Closer, and if that Yamahas are close to the back of that Honda, as they come down the chute for the final time, they will blow past him.
Yeah, Jamie Stauffer's also passed Mad Mike Jones and pulled out a few bike lengths of buffer over the Queenslander as well on board the Cube Racing Kawasaki bike number 9.
They'll get the last lap board as they when they come down the chute next time around.
Have a 5-bike battle for the lead, not dissimilar to any of the other races that we've seen this year. So the championship well and truly seems to be running on a very strict regime of making sure there's plenty of bikes in
Halliday turns in tight into turn 12 there. They were working on getting good drive. That was perhaps his biggest problem was getting good drive out of there earlier in the weekend, but they've fixed that. He'll blow past the Fireblade here as they get the last lap board and goes past Condon. No, Herfoss comes back out of the slip. What a fantastic move. That could be the race-winning move, Phil.
And Crew Halliday up the inside as well. Condon is back to 3rd place. Condon's going to come back hard on the brakes. Wow. He's back hard on the brakes, and he could just hold Crew Halliday up here for a second, allowing Herfoss to get a bit of a buffer and an escape.
Has got to go buy Sean Condon a beer after this one, I think, Phil.
Well, he's actually just got to get on the throttle and pin his ears back and just go for it hard. He can't be waiting for any of those riders to come back hard. Maxwell and Allerton still battling very hard. Expect Maxwell. I think Maxwell's going to mount a move on Allerton up there at turn 9, JT Sprocket's corner. But Herfoss, he has got it pinned back. Look how hard he's riding as they go through the turn 4 and 5 area at the moment, the change of direction.
Herfoss
all of them off the circuit and out onto the concrete on the exit of turn 5.
Unless Condon can park it under Herfoss in a very perhaps aggressive move at turn 9, I reckon Herfoss has got this one.
Allerton all out of shape on the way out of Kawasaki turn 6 now, but Condon looking to try and hold onto the back of Troy Herfoss to be close enough. You see the front end patter there of Condon's Kawasaki as he made his way down into JT Sprocket's turn 9. It is the last run up the back straight now. Herfoss has got the lead. This is where he needed to be ahead. Look at the Fireblade. Out of shape, Trev, as they come round through Bell Helmet's corner.
Oh, geez. He's going to be ropeable if that Kawasaki manages to blow past him before the start-finish straight, but I think he's got enough. I think he's got enough of a bike length there as they run up over the hill on the turn 12. I think Herfoss has got this one. He's in front. Oh, Condon's climbing from behind. Condon blows past and sucks the paint off the Fireblade to take the race win.
And Herfoss punches the tank
in frustration. He did everything he could there. I thought he'd done enough. I thought he had it, but I'm sure he'd rather Condon be winning that race than Wayne Maxwell.
Oh, that's it. And also, too, the fact that
Condon... Maxwell failed to get past Allerton. Maxwell only 5th.
And the other thing is that Condon didn't even appear to need to use the slipstream to get past. He pulled out, went completely to the right-hand side of the track as Herfoss went to the left and just got great drive. He did actually seem to pull up a little bit through those last couple of corners as well as Ben Burke comes across the line to finish in 9th position. But what a race. The top 5 covered by less than a second at the end of 14 laps of frantic action.
You see Herfoss congratulate Sean Condon there and say, geez, can you give me some of that horsepower, but I'd rather you than those blue bikes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we see the confirmation of our results now. 0.078 of a second between our race victor, Sean Condon, and second placed Troy Herfoss. Crew Halliday on the podium again this weekend, only 0.2 of a second behind. Then, as you said, Glenn Allerton holding down 4th, Wayne Maxwell 5th.
Pro-Ams across the line as well. What a fantastic race.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I actually got a decent start, and that's pretty much what's been letting me down the whole year is just my starts. So I got a good start, got in 4th, and I knew I had the pace sort of to pick him off. You know, I love these longer races. You sort of get in a flow and yeah, give it a go. So I'm happy with that. Bike's going good. I feel good. You know, I just like to thank all my sponsors: iPhone, Swan Insurance, Bike Biz, a mechanic, Ben, and everyone else that's behind me.
How much satisfaction do you get being the first Kawasaki in a long time to take a victory in the Swan Insurance Australasian Superbike Championship round?
And it's pretty rewarding actually. So I'm super pumped, super happy. That was my first win this year on a Sunday. I think ever on a Sunday. So I'm yeah, pretty chuffed. I'm you know, glad for Kawasaki to get it up on board. You know, they're a great package all around bike, and you know, I proved that just then.
1 down, 1 to go. Can you do it?
I'll give it a go.
Good on you, mate. Thank you. Troy Herfoss, congratulations to you. What a fantastic effort out there. You and Sean battled it out for the entire race.
Yeah, it was a great battle. I'm happy for Sean. He deserves to win. He's riding really well, and he improves each race. So congratulations to Sean. And I didn't see what happened behind us, but I can imagine it was quite close. Yeah, I've got to do whatever I can to be at the front of the race for that midsection, and I've done that. Once again, no mistakes. We rode 100% the whole race, and yeah, that's everything I've got, so I can't be unhappy. I was a little bit frustrated, as you can imagine, crossing the line, but you know, we've got our strong points, and you can see how strong that Honda is through the back section, and this is a tough track for us, that long straight, but we're proving that the bike's really competitive, and the best part is we're improving the bike a little bit every time, so I'm wrapped for that race. We've extended the championship lead, and that's what we're here to do.
Well, it's all about consolidation. It's a long series, and you've done that. Race 2 coming your way. Do you think you can get it up onto the top podium?
Yeah, well, I snuck my old tyre in for that one, and so I've got a new bag to go in for the next one. And the conditions are going to warm up, but you never know what can happen. All the bikes are so close, and yeah, like I said, our bike's improving, so I can only imagine that we'll be strong in the next race, and we'll just push hard again.
Good luck.